you do some production work as well.
100%.
And when you approach productions, is this when you have your producer hat on and there's an artist that pushes back and was like, I want to sing that again, or I want to comp my vocals. Like, I know if I can sing, 7 takes, we can take the best one, and maybe take 5 will be the best. But like, how do you work with those artists with your producer hat on who may, not be as comfortable with that process?
Good question. So I tell them exactly the way I really want to do it ahead of time. And I warn them that if we do the process I want, it depends on the artist. Mm-hmm. But if it's someone who can really sing great songs, then I like to set them up in such a way that they are tattooed to the entire thing. And if they make a mistake, sorry, that's it. That's the one we're going with. Because we all know that was the take, except for that one moment. I try to set up a situation where you're trapped. Like, sorry,
and
you're
they
trapped.
know that going into work.
And they know that going into work with them. And I'm not interested in doing anything else at the moment. So, because frankly, I'm not WizKid. I'm not DAW WizKid. I have some friends who are, and they're geniuses. Sure. And it's like, please call them to take. If you want to take a shot at what's on Top 40, like, don't call me. I'm gonna get you to write a song, and we're gonna record it on acoustic guitar. But hey, man, work for Jack Johnson, so maybe that's not so crazy, et cetera, et cetera. So I want to be clear that I'm not trying to be religious about the thing that I'm trying to warn about is basically it's gotten like too easy to avoid performing. And so I don't care how you make your record. I just think that performing something is the doorway to authenticity. And you can take 100 performances if you want, but be careful about, like, you can comp. I've comped, but like there's some term that the Japanese have for this, and I can't remember what it is. Phil told me about it, where it's like there's a certain amount of like, cool, we're gonna add, like, splice it, like, okay, dink, we put 2 things together. But once you have like 50 edit points, like, you have broken this energetic field. And I'm sorry if this is ruining anyone's day. I didn't come here to bum you out.
We did have a couple people walk out.
I came. That's okay. Your money back. Wait, It was free, wasn't it? Or maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Sorry. Point is, okay. Oh my God. But my point is just that there is a doorway to authenticity. I'm just saying, be careful with. Depends what the goal is, but like. I would almost guarantee that everyone in this room has more they can discover, myself included, about themselves and what their gifts really are within the realm of recording and record making, if they take a little slightly different approach to really trying to focus on a performance, and even experiment with, like, you know what? Let's embrace bleed. Let's see what that sounds like. What does it sound like if the drummer has to hit really soft, because if he hits too hard, he's going to ruin my vocal take. Now we're like, man, we are tethered. It's like, that's like, no one's getting off this ship alive. If someone tries to take the exit, like, we're all dead, I mean, I like that energy.
And that's what I hear, like, the Scary Pocket sessions are like, because they are. That's all in a room as well, and the drummer's 100%. Playing so quiet. Yeah, and as a result, guess what's happened? They've gotten insane at doing that process. Right. You can get and everyone they get to work with is just getting better. And basically you end up becoming the wrecking crew, man, and, in terms of your skill set chops is like people, my friends who play on the late night shows, they're so ridiculously fast at learning songs. I mean, it's actually like freakish. I've seen cats be like, and it's like the taping's about to happen on the Colbert show, and it's like I'm running 5, and Batiste looks at me and he's like, he's got a thing in, and he's like, he makes like a C shape, like, this is in C, and I'm like, yeah. He's like,
cool. And it's like, 4, and he's like, bang, and he plays the whole song. It was like, I know he didn't learn it beforehand. Like, he's that good.
Yeah.
How do you get that good? Obviously, he's a freakazoid genius, but also you do it every night that way. So I'll just say, whatever your process is, keep doing it. I just want to throw out the notion of like, maybe there's a little trap door where you could find more of yourself in recording. You know?
It's, I think it's also all about intention of what you're trying to build and do with your career. Yeah. And because you have built a career where you have a die-hard fan base. And what's so interesting is it's like, and they resonate with your recordings, with your lyrics, with your music, your performances. You put on killer shows, and that's why people keep coming back. But it's like, we're at a very interesting time in the music industry.
Yes.
Because there are artists out there who, have triggered that algorithm so perfectly, where they're getting gazillions of streams and the numbers are crazy. And you look at that and they can't sell 50 tickets to their hometown show.
Right. That's tough.
I like your numbers, in comparison,
they're not crazy.
They're modest.
Totally.
We're talking like 170,000 monthly listeners on Spotify currently is what I've seen, and 80,000 Instagram followers. It's like, if we look at numbers, if you look at that, you're like, oh well, that's in the grand scheme of what the crazy landscape looks like right now. Like, oh my gosh, that's not much.
No, it doesn't get you any real looks from the industry either. But even after you sell out the rooms that an artist 10x the numbers doesn't sell out,
and that's what you're doing.
Yeah,
you're playing 1,000 to 3,000 cap rooms.
Yeah,
and selling out all of these rooms, and that doesn't compute for most people in the industry. It's like, wait a minute, you're selling 3,000 tickets a night. And your Spotify numbers are what? And
I know.
But that's because you go deep, not wide. And that's where we're at as this industry right now. There's a lot of artists that that get love from all the Spotify editors and everything. And they go wide. They're on every playlist. Everybody's listening. They got millions upon millions of streams, but they can't sell the tickets. They don't go deep. They don't have fans.
Right.
And
fans is the key.
You have found your audience that is so deep that they will follow you wherever you go. You have a career. Have a career, and you will have a career for the rest of your life, because these fans will stick with you for the rest of your life because you continue to push yourself. But it's like you have found a way to connect authentically with that audience and not necessarily chase the editors or the algorithm or anything like that, which we are bombarded at all times with what you're supposed to do.
Totally.
I wrote a 650-page book on what you're supposed to do.
Yeah.
But it's also studying what everyone has done. And what I keep coming back to is that you have carved your own way, paved your own path in a way that doesn't make sense to 99% of the people out there, but the 1% that really resonates with it loves it so much that you're their favorite artist.
That's really cool. Thanks for saying all that. I think you're right. That was my dream, to be honest. It's like, I just want to, and I also knew that to be honest, I can't do any of what you just said. I don't know how you hit every funny bone in the industry is its own kind of 1,000-headed beast or whatever.
Yeah.
Right. And there's all these people that are trying to help. And I'm to me, live performance. I also had the good fortune of starting to really play shows when I was a teenager. Mm-hmm. So it was there's nothing better than playing a concert to me. I love the studio. I love it. Nothing against the studio. It is one of my favorite things in the world. But man, it's the stage for me. Mm-hmm. So it's that's more important. And I've had to eat it in my own ego many times and continue to when I go, man, but these numbers aren't that high.
Yeah.
It's but the tickets are there.
Yeah.
So it's oh, well, okay, I'll take that.
Yeah.
Sounds good. But that feels weird even to some of the people that work with me who were man, it would be, you got to get your numbers up. And I'm how are the tickets doing? And they're well, it's sold out, but I'm so it sounds like we need a bigger venue.
Yeah.
With a higher ticket price.
Well, it's like, and then it goes to like, what are the,
I don't know.
Yeah. What are the intentions and like, what kind of career are you looking to build?
For me, that's what I want.
You want to, right.
And I also think, like, you and I have talked a little bit about some ways to organically promote your music on the internet. And I want to do that because like you said, I want to have lifelong fans. Like the way I was able to conceive of this was like, I had to think, well, who are the people that it's like, if Brandi Carlile does something, I'm going to go, yeah, great. I want to hear it. I have artists that are like my favorite artists. So it's like, maybe I could be one of those artists for someone, maybe for 10 people, maybe for 100, maybe for 1,000, maybe for 10,000. Wow, that would be crazy. Yeah. But it's possible, but how would I get there? I was like, well, I just knew that if I tried to mess with and it's not like I'm some authentic from birth, like, look at me, I'm Mr. Authentic. It's been a process. I used to do stuff I hated doing. And luckily none of it worked at all. That's the joke in my life. I got so burnt out doing stuff that I didn't like because I thought it was going to make me successful and paid. And I completely fell on my face harder than I could even tell. Yeah. Basically, I mean, also around the same time, like, my dad died and I had all these emotional things happen that just like, it felt like a certain kind of rock bottom. Yeah. Emotionally. And I just thought, like, you know what? I'm just going to make music with my friends. Screw this whole thing. And my friends happen to be Wolfpack. And so, lucky me. Yeah. It's like, what a joke, though, that doing the most punk, least give a crap thing turned into the most lucrative thing. Like, or whatever you want to call it. It's not like we're not.
I mean, you're selling out Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, that's good. That's very good.
That's very good.
It's extremely expensive to play Madison Square Garden. I will tell you.